Hi everybody, this is Wormatty. Today we're testing DR Facility Alpha 5 version 5A.
Me, spawn. I already did one trap.
So, the playtest has begun.
Indeed. Fortress, do you want to be activator for a proper round?
Yes. Yes. That's why I asked for a respawn for everybody else here, so we could just go from here.
I didn't hear you, I wasn't on the server at the time, but I've set you as the next activator.
Ow.
Well, just waiting for people to connect to the server and then we'll have a proper round. Is Cars here?
Do we know what changed on the map?
Cars is here. They can give us a brief rundown, I suppose. Or they can tell us what specifically they want us to chest. Chest? Big fixes.
Test.
Chest. Yeah, we've been playing some Minecraft, so that's why.
Do you have holiday mode logic by any chance?
I mean, I have my funny cosmetic enabled, so yeah, I think holiday mode's.
That was a question for Cars. Well, in order to ensure that it's a fair test, I won't be respawning people unless I deem it absolutely necessary. So do try to survive.
Alright.
Oh, at least there's stairs, so I can at least go back up and forth instead of last time.
You can try and kill them, by the way, because I'd prefer this round be over soon.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh. I'll just,
Okay. Fair enough.
hope that helps.
Rip. That's a bit unfair. Mind you, you can jump back, so... Maybe, maybe it'd be better if there was a little bit more time to react to it.
Alright, let's do this again.
So the platform was further away from the thing that falls down.
Proper round time, let's go. Let's actually test this shit.
Odd shading on these props.
Yellow.
Yellow!
Yellow.
Oh, yellow.
Oh.
Oh, I forgot about that part more. I forgot that part was a
bit-
thing.
It's confusing, but okay.
Got changed, that's good.
So what has changed on the map?
I like the fact that I didn't have to crouch jump there.
You can no longer skip the third trap.
I like the fact that I only have to crouch to get in there as well, which is good.
Unskippable. Gotcha.
What the hell? Well, that was rather lethal.
Yeah, I activated the second fan first, and then the first one.
You think maybe the fans should be going at some speed by default, and then they should ramp up, but gradually. Is this a trap, or why are you standing there? Oh, fuck off!
I think they can easily escape that. I don't know.
I thought that was a person.
Nah, that was there.
I mean, it technically is.
I think some people are stuck here.
Wait, is the tiny guy stuck? can't
Oh,
make the
no.
jump as tiny. Oh my god.
Maybe when you give people tiny,
Stuck
you
down
should increase their jump height to
tried.
compensate.
Have you tried going back?
I will teleport you.
Oh.
Never mind.
There's Steamworks? Wasn't that last map?
No, I'm not
Is it
respawning
because
everybody.
of the water texture? I think it might be the water, Burke, because like sometimes it does that when there's water on a previous map and then it goes into a map with water in it.
Well, if it's silly, then you obviously have a problem and you need to address it. If I were to respawn people, you wouldn't get an accurate representation of people's understanding of the map. So, by playing the map over and over again, you can see how people learn from past mistakes or past experiences.
We gotta learn from our mistakes.
Just go the other way.
Evidently, a lot of people died on the previous fans. On the fans, maybe because in the past they just were not used to their full potential, but now somebody actually activated them correctly and it killed loads of people. Previously, they just not had a proper experience with them. As it stands, it is a very confusing trap.
I still feel like that Demo Man laughing trap, I think that should be like a main thing.
I saw a music room.
Something wrong with the floor there. It doesn't really look illuminated.
Blocked.
Doesn't look emissive. I wonder if you're just using a light map generic texture, or
Music makes me lose control.
if it is an unlit or a self-illume, maybe you need to change the mask to make it brighter.
Oh, you're dead.
Nice try.
Easy. Sex. I saw the sex room.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That freaking sniper's a spy.
Begin.
This first trap feels kind of underwhelming, really. There's also no indication as to what's going to happen. You just get sucked into the lift. What is it about, you know? Why does it, what does it exist? What's its role in this environment? But you probably don't even really need to have a trap there. I mean,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Control point enabled. Get going.
Wait, oh. That trigger hurt's not there.
dodgy shading here. Textures may not be aligned. No. It is very cool, isn't it? This beam here reminds me of Industrial. Fuck off. That was very strange. I was crouching and for some reason I was walking forward and I wasn't moving. So I couldn't build enough speed to jump off the platform. I was looking at that room and I thought, oh, that room looks rather bright. I wonder how this alternative route works for the activator. You appear to have some kind of Z fighting on
What the fuck?
the pipes as the stuff comes out of them.
That's confusing. Yeah, launch is too high.
Better run cubes.
I still think that bit where the boxes launch you is too difficult. When I use it, I just can't. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it.
I think you have to make the puzzle disable the death thing.
Like, I also don't understand
you have
why.
to make sure the death things are turned off, right? Yeah, like that.
Okay.
Why at the start you go like left and jump over to the right, and then you level off and go straight
point
forwards.
go.
It should start straight and then go left and
will it
right and so
land?
on. Get more difficult, not
damage.
start difficult and get easier.
Here now, I'm recording.
What percentage of the way through the map are we?
I have no idea.
3/4, okay. You know, I think it's difficult to tell how far through the map you are. I think we don't know where we're going, so we can't really judge it. We don't know what these places are. Like, what is this facility? Does it have a purpose? What's the place that we're going to? What's the goal? Can we logically plot a progression there in our minds that makes sense? Maybe you could have like a map that shows each of the zones or sections, and the map changes as you go through the map. It would say like you are here, for instance, and you can have the you are here as an overlay on top of the map.
Question. Do these kill you? Or did they just push you?
That is a good question. It doesn't look like they should, because there's nothing apparently hazardous about them. Although the hazard tape does lead you to think that... Oh.
No,
Could
I
they
think you
deal
jumped on the
damage?
other side. Oh yeah, they do deal damage. Just jump there.
Maybe they should be electrified. What the fuck was that?
That was a trap.
That was a bit unfair. Music's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's from... Cool song. Yes. Red.
So Cars, given that this is alpha, when you're satisfied with how the map plays, are you then going to go into a beta stage where you mostly work on detailing?
Is R60D sleeping?
Well, we don't say it's
something.
not ready. We just identify areas for improvements. You know, it's up to you to kind of determine when you're finished tweaking with the gameplay. Oh, for fuck's sake.
5, 4, 3.
But in any case, I think alpha should be where you make the mechanics, and beta should be where you do most of the detailing and also the sound as well. So I don't want you to go straight from alpha to release. What I want you to do is go into beta and then start working on the detailing and also adding appropriate sound effects to elements where necessary. For instance, those gas things on the wall that push you, they could do with their own sound effects. Fair enough. And then in terms of detailing, you could probably do with kind of adjusting the lighting of things and maybe refining some of the fine details or texture choices in some places. And if you want some feedback, you can always ask. Lighting is tricky.
Yeah, I suck with lighting.
What I tend to do is I tend to stick to mainly light spot over light entities. And then I always try and have a realistic physical source for the light in the map. So, for instance, if I'm going to put a security light somewhere, then I would use a security light spot, you know. I do all that in Steamworks Extreme, so all of the lighting has an actual physical source, and it worked out quite well. I also have different shades of colours as well. Some places I have like fluorescent strip lights. They're kind of cold, bluish light, if you know what I mean.
Please. I don't know how. Using OBS.
Is somebody trying to do something?
I'm just getting Steam messages.
Oh, okay.
And it's gonna affect the video or whatever.
I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay.
Just do what I do and ignore people and have no friends, and then nobody messages you. Oh, it's a shame.
Oh, what the hell?
You seem to have a permanent smoke effect there on that platform. Bit odd. The point.
Seems a bit too strong.
Ah, okay. Is it, if you stand over that gas, does it deal damage to you? See, I haven't actually seen this part before, so... Oh, this bit looks familiar. It's not working, though. Where are the big balls? Oh, there they are. Oh, it's a bomb.
I am the Obermensch. I require assistance.
I wonder what the game thinks the mass of those objects is. Because they ordinarily, if you've got like a very heavy object and it like lands on something, it makes a kind of heavy crunching sound. But these just sound like they're kind of flimsy metal, if you know what I mean. So I wonder if experimenting with the mass would help.
Incoming. Incoming. Oktoberfest. Incoming. Assistance, Peter. Well done.
Interesting.
Keep it up.
Oh, a security mirror.
Take the sentry.
There's so much map.
Just watching the mapper beat his own
Yeah,
map.
pretty much. When you said 3/4
How
of the way
long is
through
the
earlier
map?
on, it seems like more like halfway through.
This is way too long if this is, you know... If it takes this long. It should be max 6 minutes for a round. Or, depends.
Ow.
Hi, Pyro. It's Miss
Well,
Pollock.
that didn't work very well.
And oh my god. So many
You've got-
cosmetics.
Everyone's cosmetics.
The scout is a spy.
Damn, this is TF2 in 23rd.
Oktoberfest.
Skeletons. They don't seem to be moving.
Easy!
Oh, there's no
But they were
spectator
making
camera in
move.
this area.
Oh
Let's
shit,
say
there's a
bomb.
bomb! How is that fair?
I didn't upload the nav file because you packed one into the map, so it's not necessary.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The packed one doesn't work. Okay. Is that the only area where the nav mesh is needed? Okay, well I don't want to restart the map just to see that, so I think we'll leave that for now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I think we need a timer, like a round timer or something, to see how long
Yeah, we do.
each round lasts.
You have 7 minutes to beat base map.
No, that's not the kind of timer I
PlayStation is
mean.
a good example.
I don't mean a countdown, I mean
Blank.
just a timer, a stopwatch, just to see how long we spend on each round, because I think a good average round length is about 6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes.
That,
So PlayStation basically.
yeah. Well, safety first is my gauge.
Safety first is flawless. Sort of.
Classic map. Yeah, it's pretty good.
What did they expect?
Okay, I'm gonna actually try the normal path.
Are you stuck, Hadouken?
Yeah.
I'm flicking between players and there's people who are just all over the place. It's quite confusing. I don't really know where people are.
Red. Wait. Crap, I forgot. Opposite.
Also, it seems like the music room is kind of causing a bit of an issue there, because PlayW was able to just kind of hide in a music room for a bit and then just appear at their own leisure. So the activator is apparently expected to just forget about them. Well, ordinarily I give 45 minutes for each map. But we don't appear to have tundra.
Okay, the map.
As I said, we don't have tundra, so we can't really playtest that.
Ow.
Oh, what? What a bullshit trap. That just killed Clee W. A lot of the lighting is quite kind of bright and flat. There's not a lot of variation in lighting, you know. There's no light and shade. You also appear to have dynamic shadows enabled on some prop dynamics. No, I'm telling you what I'm observing so you can use that information to improve it.
I mean, if you need to go, I'm sure that it's fine if you leave.
It's resume is nearly done.
All in a day's work. Excellent. What did they expect?
Hadouken, that's a you problem. You have that problem with... Okay.
Which one?
Great.
What's it called? Yeah, what's it called?
What's the name of it?
Don't go to the end just yet, Taco.
Of course. The do-si-do.
Hadouken, you have that issue with every map.
Is it called AFK Hurt? I've disabled the trigger hurt named AFK_hurt. Cars.
I think he's checking hammer.
Okay.
Yes.
Hooray!
It works.
I think, well, personally, I don't think you should respawn people all the time. I think there should be some, like, some reward or trial, some test. Because if you respawn people all the time... Oh, shit. Wow, that's really slippy.
Are the platforms glass?
They look like gold, but when you step on them, it suddenly becomes clear that it is glass and before sliding off.
Not a fan.
No, I don't like walking on glass. I find it really uncomfortable. Nice try. As I was saying, what was I saying?
Also, those boxes seem a little too much.
I think the lava texture is a bit too noisy. You should scale it up quite a lot. Oh dear. It would appear that there is no kind of motivator or anything here.
You failed.
My turn!
Oh boy.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think there should always be some kind of system where you have to work to obtain a respawn at the end. Because if you feel like you earned it, it's more valuable.
5, 4, 3.
It also
Let me just
mixes things up a bit as well.
use a stopwatch.
If every round was like had every player alive all the time at the end, then it would always be the same. But if there was only a small number of players, you know, it'd be a different experience. Again, this door, get rid of it or something, or I don't know. It's just so stupid. It makes no sense whatsoever. I don't think anybody appreciates seeing that demo go through there, apart from you. It makes no sense. It doesn't really have any bearing on the map at all.
Why are we going through the same route every single time? This map is so long.
2, 1. Control point enabled. Move.
I think you should have a sign or something that says what that button does, like or some kind of texture that says this is going to get deleted. The activator corridor of this area seems to be better, which is good. The buttons are too dark though. Oh, there's a button there. I didn't see it. I didn't know what it did either. Do I have to go down? I take full damage. That's stupid. Seriously? I've got to take a really long detour to get to the other side. And now I don't know where anybody is. I feel like I've missed somewhere. I like this, the design of this area though. This looks really cool. I'd be a little bit confused about whether or not I should see through there, but it's not too bad. Maybe for the benefit of the activator, there should be a like an overlay or something that only they can see, that has like arrows that shows the paths that the runners can take. Oh fucking hell! I missed somebody. Again, buttons that I can't see. How am I supposed to get to this person? And where are they? I can't see them. Oh, look. They're over there. What's happening? Why is there all this smoke everywhere? This button being red, does that mean I can't press it? There's a sex room. Isn't that from that Source filmmaker?
Difficult.
Okay, well that kind of makes sense. But I didn't know when it was going to come on, so I didn't really have any chance to trigger it there. Like, you know what's going to happen as the map author, but I don't. You have to remember that when you design things. I can't tell what colour this button is. It looks black. Okay, whatever. What does that do? Oh, that's unfair. It does say poison gas, but it's kind of out the way. You don't see it before the pipe, and it's not obvious that it's going to come out of that pipe. It's quite dark.
That round lasted 40 minutes.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do the timer.
4, 3, 2, 1. Fight!
Alright, if you want, that's up to you. If Taco doesn't mind. So I should think it's been made abundantly clear to you now that the map is a bit too long, and you have issues where you have a lot of people dying off earlier on, and it's rare that people actually get to the end, and it's usually only like one person. Sometimes it's you as the map author, other times it's Zati. So
A little rusty today.
the approach, oh, for fuck's sake. I suppose the solution, or the solution would appear to be there to both make the map a little bit shorter and also to kind of ease up the difficulty earlier on. Identify which traps people have issues with. Well, I mean, you might have done it in the past, but clearly you still have an issue. I mean, me saying you need to do this, just because you've already done it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it again, you know? At least, it's better than having a trap that's too easy and not knowing how to make it more difficult. Because they're already difficult, and it should be clear to you by watching the playtest videos over and over which ones are difficult. You can make them easier, so that should be like a much easier thing for you to do. I think you might also want to kind of clamp down on speedrunners as well and try and keep people together more. Because if the activator's only ever chasing one person and they don't really get to use the traps on the other people, then it's not really a very good experience for them either. And also the people behind the leader aren't going to experience the traps as they're meant to be experienced when they're being triggered. I think there are some situations where you could benefit from using emissive textures or unlit textures. If you don't know how to make those, then ask in the help channel and we'll give you some information. Like, for instance, buttons or those platforms in that puzzle room. Because things are kind of blocky colours and they're just receiving shading, they look rather dim. Also, in that puzzle room, what you could do is you could have like individual spotlights just in each of the slots to draw attention to them. That might look quite good.
Oh, what the hell?
That was odd. You seem to be propelled forwards there. I'm going to respawn people. If Canada can get to the end and hold still. Thank you. Or not.
Just hold still.
Careful, you're standing between poison barrels. Shit.
Okay.
I'm such an idiot.
Oh, thank you
I'm not
for
sure
the
I
fish.
really understand the left path. Like, in the fork in the road, in the like earlier in the course. You're supposed to go like left or right. What exactly are you supposed to do? Maybe that's a silly question, but I got to the top and then it's just like spike platforming and whatnot. It just kills you.
You see this area here with the
Bit of
balls?
lag.
Wouldn't it be much more fun if there were like a bunch of players running through this corridor at the same time and not just one? That's the kind of experience you should aim to produce, in my opinion. Because I think it's much more fun when you're actually playing alongside other players. I'm not criticizing you, I'm just telling you what I think. The only problem is, in order to kind of get that level of grouping such a late stage in the map, you have to really go hard on, well, you know, grouping methods, slowing down, etc. Pooling, as I call it. I like this area, but I feel like the thing that goes through the middle needs to be kind of a laser or something, which I'm sure you'll make in future. A nice particle effect would probably look the best. Rip.
Oh, the trigger, right.
Pyro, calling here. I need something done. Quietly.
Boxes.
Oh, is this a logic issue? Taco Vendor didn't die. They must be a spy.
Victory.
Yeah.
Flawless victory.
That was 6 minutes.
Yeah, that was a good round length. A good maximum round length.
4, 3,
Without traps, of course.
1.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Fuck me. Is there anything specifically you'd like to test now, Kars? Okay. I mean, is there anything in particular which you would like feedback on that you feel hasn't been tested thoroughly enough? Hardest part earlier on.
I can think of one. I think there's one that might be a bit difficult for the average player.
3, 2, 1. The point is now available for capture.
Indeed.
Yeah,
I
that
think
one as well, but
I can't really comment because I've not been focusing on the traps. I've been focusing on kind of providing feedback and stuff, but they
I
do
think
appear to
this
be...
part might be a bit difficult
Yeah.
for the average player.
If you look at the playtest videos afterwards, see how many players die to each trap. That'll give you an idea. This trap on the surface here, it looks obvious. You've got simple timings, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But as Steamworks Extreme shows, simple timings can kill quite a lot of people. So you kind of need to like either make it easier or move traps like this later in the map so that they kind of match their surroundings. I think having this this steam come from the ceiling doesn't really help because it blocks your vision of what's happening. And I think perhaps the lights move much too quickly. Perhaps they should also have a delay between each sequence. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and then waits for 2 seconds, and then 1, 2, 3. No, it doesn't.
Just make it wait more.
Oh, are you listening to me? I said a delay of 2 seconds, not half a second. I apologise. I just don't like it when people don't listen to me. The purpose of the trap is to kill people, but the problem is it's killing too many people. Why have such a long map and so many traps if you only need 3 because they kill all the players for you? So the problem you've got is that it's killing too many people. One solution to make it easier is have a delay after the third thingy of 2 seconds to give people more time to respond. That is a solution. If you don't do it for whatever reason, then you can carry on going, oh, I don't know what to do, or you can take the advice that's being given to you.
I'd suggest at least 1 second delay, or 1.5 second.
You don't seem to be understanding this. How long does it take to get down there, eh? Let's have a look. I'm being spectated, I can't see. Oh, see, I got blown off right at the end there, even though I think there I was going down the slope faster than the sequence of lights. I slipped. What did I slip on? I was blown off.
Can anyone tell me which color it was? Please. Ow. What the hell?
What you're in that kind of trap, what you're playing with is players' judgment.
You failed.
Damn it.
There's a trap in Castle Stevie, which is just a piece of wood that appears for like 1 second and then breaks and then respawns 1.5 seconds later. Pretty simple on the surface, but that trap is like responsible for killing most of the players. Its lethality, or lethality in comparison with all the other traps, is insane. And all it is just a timed disappearing platform. So you have to ask yourself, why? Why is that? I think it's because people have trouble timing things, if you know what I mean. Timing in particular is a tricky thing for a lot of people. If it's stuff like platforming, that's not too hard. Is this going to kill me or what? But timing appears to be quite challenging. What the hell's happening?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, but the problem is that your traps are defeating, like, the experience. It's making things too hard, and the majority of players are not getting to the end on their own. So that means it's going to feel unfair. The map is already really long. If only one person ever gets to the end, that's not much fun, is it? And it's only the people who are really experienced at Deathrun.
It's almost like you're relying on the map itself to kill people instead of blue with traps. I don't know.
No, the problem you've got is one of difficulty ramping. You've got several traps at the first half of the map, like Steamworks Extreme, which are too difficult for people who of lesser skill, let's say, or people who haven't got a lot of patience. But after that, the traps aren't really that challenging. And so what you'll find is that the experienced players will get through the first few traps fine, and then they won't really have much of a challenging experience for the rest of the map. We've just got to wait for them to finish and watch. Ideally, what it should be is you start with the easy traps, things get gradually more and more difficult, and the players die off gradually and regularly over time at like a kind of you know, a regular rate, rather than just having clumps of loads of players dying off in the first minute. So in Steamworks, for instance, the second trap, which is what I call the oven, kills off so many people. And after that, all you've got left is kind of a few. And then you've got all these other traps later on, which aren't really that challenging. And they're only getting played by people who have played Deathrun for ages, who are really good. So for these experienced Deathrun players, it's not challenging or interesting for them. And all the other people who are just watching them think, well, I'd like to have a go at that trap, but I can't get past the earlier traps because they're too difficult for me. So, well, Steamworks, when it was released, it was quite different to a lot of other maps, you know? It was very different. But people kind of often get preoccupied with how a map looks, or how a different kind of experience that it offers. You know, they go, wow, this is interesting, but they don't think about like the difficulty or things like that, you know. There's a few people who just get frustrated by Steamworks Extreme because they cannot go past a few of the traps, and yet there's people who play Deathrun for ages who really enjoy it. It would be great if you could kind of do something which works for both sets of players, people who have been playing for a while, who want a challenging experience, and also people who want something which is more for their skill level. So if you were, say, a less experienced Deathrun player, each round, if you got a little bit further, then you would feel like you're making progression. But if you start off and you're faced with these traps which are so out of your skill level that they're just really difficult for you to get past, that's a very large difficulty curve, a very steep climb, in order for you to make progress. So the progress, your personal progress, should be gradual. In my opinion. This is why I say to people not to detail until you've gotten all the traps down. Because if you have to make big changes where you're physically lifting a trap up and putting it somewhere else, if you've already detailed it, you won't want to do that. So the choice you've got really is to kind of nerf a trap a bit, which means then that it doesn't really kind of fit the experience that you were originally envisaged, if you know what I mean. So you kind of feel like you're not able to do what you want. I realise I'm probably kind of preaching now, I apologise.
Well, you're right. You gotta have a good difficulty curve. Otherwise, there's not really like a progression of skill.
Just make the beginning as simple as possible, and then make the map get harder the further you go. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and if people say it's too easy, then you can address those issues when they come up. You gotta take each problem as they come.
Yeah. What I suggest you do is look at the playtest videos and watch them more than once. Or actually watch them, because apparently some people don't even do that, annoyingly. And write down, like, how often or how many players a trap kills on average, and you'll come up with what I call a kind of lethality index. And if you find that you have traps earlier in the map which kill far too many players, then you'll want to move those to, say, later on, or reduce the difficulty a bit. The only problem with that is that if you watch a typical Deathrun round where people aren't respawned, then people won't often get to those later traps because they're being killed off earlier. So it can be quite difficult to determine the difficulty of those later traps. So you have to kind of rely on your own experience really, and people's opinions. So you've got some really interesting concepts and trap mechanics here. You know, I really like the corridor where you have to dodge the balls. It's really clever, And there's the underwater section as well, which is also very interesting, although a little bit long. The bomb planting thing, the water rapids where you have to run over the spikes, you know, really interesting ideas. But the majority of players just aren't going to experience that. So perhaps it's better to focus on, like,
Victory.
making sure that as many people can experience these interesting mechanics as possible. Otherwise, they're not going to get an appreciation for your work. They're not going to appreciate just how original it is in comparison to a lot of basic maps, you know? Like these traps, they're not guaranteed death traps, are they? They require on skill. How many maps offer an experience like that? Not many.
Just wanna say that last round lasted 80 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have to build something, aren't I, that prints the round length at the end of a round. I hope this my TED talk has been useful to you and that I haven't upset you at all or depressed you. I apologise if I seem a little bit harsh sometimes. It's just I have a lot of, you know, there's a lot of times when people have kind of just straight up ignored what I've said to them. And it's quite frustrating, as you can imagine.
3, 2, 1. Control point enabled.
I tried taking your advice.
Good, I'm glad some people do. So yeah, often there's a lot of feedback given out on playtest videos that gets missed, I feel. So I think you should watch the videos more than once and pause them, and every time you see what seems like feedback, just write it down underneath like the trap in a notepad or something. Have a think about it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Oh shit. Oh, what's that?
Music?
Spooky.
I thought that was on my end, dude.
On the topic of music rooms, do you guys have any ideas or thoughts, perhaps? Do you have any thoughts on music rooms that don't kind of interfere with the playing of the Deathrun course in any way?
What do you mean?
Well, I find that music rooms tend to kind of be, well, it's a little bit of a design issue in my opinion, because you make this secret area that people can go into, or one person, they disappear out of sight from the activator, who has no idea where they are, and so how are they supposed to know, like, if they're ahead of them, behind them? And if they know that they're behind, then you've got all these other people who are playing the game, dying off and so on, and then you've got one person who emerges out of the Easter egg room later on and can just run the course without having to kind of go through any of the traps that require being triggered, if you know what I mean.
I guess it depends on how it's made, how people make it.
Yeah. I've got a similar experience in Castle Stevie, where if you win the previous round, then you can go into the gallery on the next round by entering the teleporter. And what I did was I timed how long it normally took for players to reach, say, the second tower or the first tower or whatever, one of the corners, you know. And I teleported the player in the gallery to that section at that time, so that they'd kind of come out at the same sort of time as the other players, and that seems to work quite well. But now when I look back on it and I think about what I did, I wonder how that affects the experience for the activator, whether or not they get confused, or whether or not they really even notice, or if it negatively affects the Deathrun experience, you know. Toad was
Well, it's just a room at the beginning, right? Like an optional thing at the beginning of
Some
the
blue
course.
particles.
exactly, Cars, exactly. Yeah, you get teleported there from the beginning, but you spend some time in there, and you can skip, you know, about a third of the map, I think it is, when you get teleported out eventually. You could argue that because they won the previous round, you know, they're entitled to a bit of a timeout. My current concern is whether or not that confuses the activator. I think perhaps not, because on that map it's quite open, and I think I did a good job of timing the exit so it coincides with a lot of the other people. Maybe what I could do is when somebody arrives at that section, it automatically teleports the runner, the person in the secret room out to them. Toad has had an idea. Well, he had a credits room. And I made these concerns to him as well. I gave them to him. And what I suggested he do was have the credits room accessible only on certain rounds, like randomly.
Not enough damage.
Oh, looks like I'm next.
But not have it so that it was like a secret off the map somewhere where people could hide. Instead, it would actually appear at the end of the course after the last trap, but it would be like a forced detour, like an alternative branch, if you know what I mean, that players would have to go down. And so that would mean that the person who got to the end first would be able to go into the credits room, and then they would be able to then open the way to the ending area, and so that by that time other people would catch up to them as well, and they would be able to experience the credits room. And it would also help to allow other players in the course who are still playing to catch up to the person at the end as well. But because it only occurred after the course had been completed, then by that point the Reds had already won, so it wasn't kind of interfering with the activator's experience at all. And I think it's quite a good idea myself, because when you think about it, when you watch a film, at the end of the film you have the credits, don't you? Sometimes you decide to watch them, sometimes you don't. But the end of something is actually the best place to put the credits, because it doesn't interfere with the showing. Well, at the end of a map, if you have a credits room that occasionally you have to go through, then that's kind of a good way of having a secret or a special event and also showing off your cool credits room. Hiss. Anyway.
I was going to ask if I should activate traps. Seems a little too late. Oh, I took fall damage.
Well, that demo was quite pointless.
Now I'm at a point where I don't know where everyone is.
There's 3 people in spawn still alive.
Maybe we respawn everyone?
I suppose I could do. I don't mind too late. This trigger in spawn appears to use a particular damage type that causes cosmetics to still be alive, but I'm not sure.
Oh, what the hell? I can get off the map.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight to the death.
I think the motivator might need to come a little bit earlier. Because I've only seen it once and we were kind of delaying at that point, so it's not really serving a purpose and motivating people to move forward, is it?
By the way, is Arctic Dino still not online?
So yeah. I think we've given feedback on each of these traps, the more difficult traps already. So I would just watch the video again rather than kind of talking about shit again. But
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The point is now available for capture.
with stuff like this, with these rotating platforms, you've got this kind of beam with like barbed wire and stuff on, and it goes to the left, but to look at it, there's no indication that that's the direction that it's going to go. It could go either way. So I'm thinking maybe what you could do is you could make like a visible kind of hinge, which was a quarter circle, so that it would kind of show that that's where it was going to go, if you know what I mean. Or maybe you could have like a track, like a kind of a quarter circle slider to indicate that it was going to go down. Maybe you could even have it tilting left slightly already, so it didn't go 90 degrees, it would go like 80 degrees, you know, so people could see that it's kind of leaning in the direction that it's going to go. Also,
blue.
I think if something's activatable, then it's probably wise to draw attention to it somehow, maybe by giving it kind of a subtle colour contrast. Everything in this area is kind of grey. The beam itself is grey, so maybe if you kind of gave it like either a hazard stripe down it somewhere, just a subtle one, or maybe like a red stripe, you know, so it looked like it stood out a little bit. You could even have that generate your own kind of special subtle detailing for hazardous elements, and then use that throughout the rest of the map. A lot of people use hazard tape, and rightly so, because it's you know, it's traditionally associated with dangerous things, but a lot of people also use hazard tape just for detailing, and that can be confusing.
This jump, it's a bit confusing, the one you just did.
I see you've used hazard tape on these things, and I wonder, that platform that you just come off, Cars, isn't that the one that breaks? I've just noticed the hazard tape on there as well, so it's tricky. You know, it could be detailing, it could be an indication of a hazardous element, it's hard to say. It doesn't really stick out very much. It's easy to miss sometimes if you're kind of running through things. Sometimes also it's a good idea to, if something's going to break, make it already partially broken or hanging off. So if you've got a platform that could kind of go underneath the weight of somebody at any time, you can have it already kind of broken in places, and then when it activates, it's a physics object and you wake it up, if you know what I mean, so it just kind of falls. In Steamworks Extreme at the start, those platforms, they're fizz boxes, but they're held in place by fizz hinges. So what I do is I wake them up, and then like a fraction of a second later I break the hinge, and what that does is it gives it that kind of appearance that it's breaking off and makes them fall at an angle rather than just straight down. Okay.
5, 4,
Well, there doesn't appear to be any other maps to test, so is there anything anybody wants to play?
Are we not testing Tundra?
Well, Arctic Dino hasn't provided us with a copy of the map.
If you
That
asked
would
him, yeah.
complicate things.
We could pretend, I suppose, and I don't know.
Has he replied yet, or?
No, he hasn't. Actually, I've got an idea. I'm going to do something you guys are going to hate.
Oh boy.